Hi, and welcome to At the Table with Swizzy, episode number 2. Joining us again is the international best-selling author, Twitch streaming goddess, mother of 3, and she's way, way cooler than me. Botlady, hello, how are you?
Let's let the audience decide who's cooler. Hey, how are you? I'm good. It's nice to see you
Oh,
today, Swizzy.
hey, thank you. Welcome to the At the Table.
Thanks.
So,
I'm happy to be here.
okay. um, from our last interview, the internet has asked, and by the internet, I mean my mom. Hi, mom.
I'm
Um,
on.
she wanted to know why the name Bot Lady. Is it a pun? Is it an irony type deal?
I mean, originally, I wanted people to know that, the internet's kind of like this place where there's no real gender identity. At least, like you could be a different gender or whatever, right? But like in the Magic the Gathering world, I been playing Magic like, oh my gosh. It's probably close to, not quite 30 years, but a long time. And Magic Online was in the late 90s. So that was like my name on when the site first came out.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had an account called Bot Lady. And basically I wanted people to know they got beat by a girl.
Yeah.
And so, I think also there was like this sentiment, at least in the trading world, that people would rather trade online with robots than people. And I always found that fascinating. Like people, in a lot of ways, like feel more comfortable taking the human out of the equation. And the idea that a robot could have a gender is kind of counterintuitive.
Yeah,
Even
for
though now
sure.
we have Siri and Alexa, like back when I made the
Yeah.
name, that wasn't really a thing yet. So the name kind of grew into itself. Maybe it was a predictor of just like I've always been really into futurism. And there was this movie I watched like way, way, way back. I don't even remember what year it was from. It was called Cherry 2000. And it's about a robot this guy falls in love with, and it was a robot woman. And so I've been like just fascinated with the idea of robot and like genderizing robots, even though they're obviously not really genderized. Like humans tend to personify objects that are not human. Like
Mm-hmm.
so I guess it's kind of a play on that idea. And I guess, I've always really liked math too, so you could say like I maybe I play almost as good as a
A
program.
bot. Yeah. Okay. Um.
So, and the name kind of just stuck, and it was always really catchy, and people always were like really taken by it because it's really simple. It's not very it's very simple, but it like puts a picture in your head, and
Oh.
then it gave me a gender like online. It's like, okay, now you're playing a female. It's not just anonymous person. Like
Oh
it's a
yeah.
female player. So I've been into online gaming for a long time. World of Warcraft, Magic the Gathering, Hearthstone, poker, and just card games in general. I really, really like. So basically it's just like my online name for 20 plus years.
No, it's original. And first time I met you on Twitch, I picked it up but I took it as you're trying to find the bots. Like you're the lady trying to find the bots, but you're also kind of a bot. But that's how I took
See,
it. So, very original.
being being a bot wasn't really controversial, because like it was really it's just a computer program basically, but like the bots kind of took over the internet, you
Right.
know? So
Well,
now everyone kind of knows what it is.
yeah, well that's what I found fascinating is that it's kind of transgressed the time of, the evolution of the internet. That what you made it
Yeah,
for back then has now taken on a new meaning, but you can still rock with it. Like all of
exactly.
my
It
No, go ahead.
survived the years. Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah,
transformed and it's almost like it was predictive of the future of where the future was headed.
yeah. Well, speaking of the future and the past, congrats on 4 years at Twitch.
Thank thank you.
you did a highlight reel. I'll put it in the description so everybody can go check it out.
I'm way more excited in the highlight reel than right now. Like not saying this interview isn't exciting, but I think I'm a little extra in the highlight reel. I sometimes I watch myself back and I'm like, what the heck?
Oh,
I want whatever she's got.
yeah. It's
Is that really me?
it's a good watch for sure. I mean, I enjoy it. I mean, it's a crazy watch. So people in the description, go down there, click the link.
We've had a lot of good moments that have been captured over the years, and when I get like a big win, I get really excited. So,
Yeah. Well, it shows, and I mean, that's what gravitates people to your Twitch. So,
Thank you.
what's been the best experience so far with Twitch for the past 4 years?
I mean, I think first and foremost is all the friendships and relationships that like basically kept me going when I'm like, oh my gosh, is anyone going to show up to my stream? Like you turn on the stream and you're just like, oh my gosh, is anyone going to care? I'm here. And, people keep coming back. So I keep coming back. And basically it's like a reciprocal cycle of just, I guess you would call it love. Basically I give my time and people come and share their time and we get to know each other. And I think it's like a way to connect with other people in a world where it's hard to connect with people. And it was kind of scary to be vulnerable, put myself out there, make mistakes publicly on a live stream. And, like it made me grow as a person. So I think that the personal growth and the personal relationships that have come from it are number one. And then number two would be like helping people. We've done all kinds of things to help community members over the years and raise money for different things. And recently we did you participated in this, the homeless
Mm-hmm.
gift bags. And I definitely want to do that again. We put together $800 worth of gift bags. It was 60 bags we gave to the local shelter. And I personally went down there and did that with my children. And it was just a great way, like, for me to use the platform I have to try to help people that need it the most. So that's the like one thing I want to keep doing is helping the homeless.
Oh, for sure. That was awesome. The fundraiser last month, and I know you and we have talked, and there's plenty more fundraisers to come. So, um,
Yeah.
Twitch, especially this community and your community, is definitely all about giving back, and it's everybody should come and come check it out. It's everybody there is nice and friendly, and so on the opposite side, what's the worst or the downside for these past 4 years?
I mean, like we all have times we want to quit and difficulties and I think, just pushing yourself through the hard times is important. There's some negativity that comes with the spotlight and learning how to deal with that, I think is harder for some people than others. I think women specifically have a challenge just how we're perceived or under a microscope. When a man is streaming, oftentimes he won't get people coming in making comments about his appearance or things like that, where it's much more common for a female to get comments like that. And so I think it really tests your self-esteem and it's kind of puts a spotlight on like are you resilient enough to withstand that kind of scrutiny, ignore the people that are negative and keep going even though it can be very difficult at times, realizing that a lot of times those people are coming from a place of they're hurting themselves and it's like they don't know how to ask for help. So you have to learn to like not take that stuff personal, but it can be really hard, especially, there's times where it's worse than others. So it's like, it's just part of it. I think, anyone who puts themselves out there in any way and experiences this, but I think it's magnified when you're a Twitch streamer.
Oh, for sure. Cause in my experiences, and this is something I wanted to ask you about, is in the beginning, you spend a lot of hours. I mean, may not have been this way for you, but me personally, is spending a lot of hours with nobody watching, nobody engaging, things like that. And personally, it can get very disheartening, very depressing. Did you
You
happen to
basically,
experience that at
yeah,
all?
absolutely. And I think you basically have to commit to this for the long term, meaning, you may have to put 5 or 10 years of effort in before you see a result. Some people get lucky and they're popular right away, and it's very rare. 99% of Twitch streamers aren't profitable. It's just the 1% that are very lucky to become popular that are. So I would recommend this as a hobby, not really as a main thing. Do things you enjoy and make content. And then the other thing is learn how to distribute it. So making social medias, learning how to put out, good videos, clipping videos, highlighting videos, the art, all of that stuff is almost as, if not more important, the marketing aspect. So making the content, good content is one thing, but if you're live for tons of hours, but you're not like getting good highlights or getting good clips and then redistributing that, because discoverability on Twitch is really, 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 really low. You almost never get new viewers directly from their website. So you need Twitter, you need Instagram, you need um anything. Like I have two Facebooks, a Facebook group, I have a Discord. I have like places I upload my videos and on Vimeo, and like, so I just have all these different places that people can watch my content, find my content. I just started TikTok. Please everybody go follow that because I'm really trying to grow it. And it's just been hard. Like I think no matter how long you've been doing it, you can still learn new things. And I think that a lot of times people put the effort into a job working for someone else that's way more effort than they do for themselves. And this is the one time, the one project that's just for you. If you
Hmm.
really want to do this, try to learn all the aspects of it, not just one thing, because there's a lot more that goes into it behind the scenes than a lot of people recognize. Besides just being able to be live, like have a plan, have a schedule the content you're going to do, have a plan to try to get, at least one good highlight per stream so that you can remarket that on all your other socials. So you can plan the content and the clips to some extent and say like, okay, I'm gonna do at least one thing really exciting. And so I have something to share. And so people see like why they should come watch me. You can't just expect them to show up if they don't know A, what's going on, or B, like why you're interesting or different. So you've got to figure that out, and once you figure out your niche or like what it is that you really want to do or share, or if even if it's a charity you want to fundraise for, just start somewhere, that something that's meaningful, and go from there, build on that.
That's some great advice right there. Because what people don't understand is that you really do have to market yourself, and that you have to be in it for yourself, and you have to understand how to bring people to you, because there's thousands of people on Twitch fighting for the same spot you are, fighting for the same little nook, and you got to be ready to invest in yourself and invest a lot of time.
And the
So,
other thing I would say is don't focus on the amount of people in your stream, focus on quality over quantity. What I mean by that is build friendships and relationships with the people that do show up and do talk, and focus on them, and don't focus on who isn't there, because that's just a waste of your energy and negative. So you want to, focus on planning the content, and then once you are live, just trying to have fun with it, because if you aren't enjoying it, like no one else is going to want to watch you.
oh, well, it comes across that way. Because one thing, what I was mentioning before about being, depressed and stuff, and I really made the connection that nobody wants to come to a stream to watch somebody having a bad time. Because
It
more than
makes them
likely,
sad.
Yeah, and more than likely, they're probably not having a good time themselves, and they're looking for something to, you know, have fun with.
Escape.
Right. And so if unless you're running a goth, Twitch stream or something, like nobody's going to show up and be like, "Oh, this guy's super depressed. I want to hang out with him." So, Bot Lady, what motivated you to start Twitch in the first place?
Well, I used to live in Las Vegas and I used to play in live tournaments all the time. And then I actually, like, one of the last ones I scored big in, I was still pregnant
Oh,
with my
wow.
daughter when I was playing it. And then I remember, like, okay, you know, now I have a baby, right? And I can't take my baby to the casino. So I'm not gonna leave my baby. So I basically like figured out how to play online, and I started playing a lot online, and kind of didn't look back. Now I'm a mother of three little kids. So basically, like, my life completely changed. I don't spend time in the casinos anymore unless it's something really special. And basically, I went from partying and gambling in my 20s in Vegas to settling down with the family and kids. And this has now become like a hobby or a part-time thing for me. But it's something I really enjoy, and I didn't want to give it up because it's part of my identity. And, so it's like kind of my way of keeping a social life and keeping
Hmm.
what I really enjoy and being able to do that still, even though I am a mother and that is my priority.
Yeah, that's actually how I started way back. Was I had a kid young, and I couldn't go out, so I was at home, and I was like, I and then poker started getting hot. It was like that poker boom, and Chris Moneymaker and Greg Raymer.
Hmm.
So that was all popping off, and so I was like, well, I enjoy poker, and so I found a site and I found a community, and I've stuck with it, since then, 25 years plus. So
Yeah.
I've found, I mean, I don't know if I was lucky that you popped in my stream and found me or, whatever, but the poker community and your community has been so enjoyable and so welcoming, and just the people I've met just through you, it's amazing. It really is. If you are wanting friends and are into poker or gambling, this uh your stream is very good for connecting with others. I mean, it's a good time.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, it took me a long time to get to the place where I could help others,
Mhm.
where the raid was, big enough to really make a difference. And I do that sometimes where I'll go look in the poker category and I'll see who has one viewer and is streaming ACR. And so, I try to do that as frequently as I can. Sometimes I go look in there and there's nobody, but sometimes I go look in there and I see, a new streamer, and I'll go in and I'll say hi, like, and I'll see if
Mhm.
they talk to me. I'll see if I follow them, if they say anything. If they ignore me, I won't raid them. But if they like respond and are kind of friendly, sometimes I'll even do it with the Twitch chat and I'll be like, should we raid this person or not? So they don't even
Mhm.
know, like, I have their stream open and I have all the people watching it and they don't know when I'm in there going, hi. Like, we're all waiting to see what they're going to say sometimes. So, you just never know on Twitch. Like, even if you're streaming to one person, like me, I could be rebroadcasting you to like 100 people and you
Mhm.
not even know it. So that happens sometimes. And there's been people I didn't raid because they just ignored me. And like, I'm like, well, if they're not going to interact with me, I'm not going to raid them because they're not going to interact with my chat
Right.
either. So I try to raid people that, if you go in and you say hi, that they respond. Because that's what I'm really looking for is connections.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I mean, that's what you did to me, and it scared the
Yeah.
hell out of me. But
Yeah.
also, I'm the one that, anybody who wants to interact with me, I will interact with him because that's what this is about. And so,
Yeah.
and and I even told you, I was like, I wasn't ready, come back next week. And you were nice enough to allow me and you even told me, you were like, I had chat watching you and they found you hilarious and I do this all the time. And I was like, oh crap, that means other people probably do this. So if you're on Twitch, be on guard all the time because you never know when an opportunity might just fall in your lap.
That's kind of the
Literally.
whole point of it, right? You're putting yourself out
Mm
there and you just never know what's going to happen. And I may be addicted to that.
hmm.
Like not knowing what's going to happen. I thrive in that.
Well, speaking on that, who, who was your day one? Who was the one that showed up in your chat and you were like, I don't know about this, and but they keep showing up and they keep showing up and you just build that relationship. You got any people you want to shout out that have just been rock solid all these
I mean,
years?
Squand is like my man, he comes and mods for me and he's just been a really good friend. And I've made a lot of friends with people over the years. I really early on, like the first few months, I really just had no viewers, like very few viewers. And basically, once I joined the Stormers, it helped a lot because they had a built-in community. So my
Mm.
4-year Stormer anniversary is coming up in about 10 days here.
Oh wow.
And so I became an affiliate and then I became a Stormer. But the thing is, I was a mod for Poker Twitch for like 3 years before I ever started streaming. So I already had followers. People knew my name and knew who I was because I was modding for, at the time, the bigger streamers in poker. And I
Hmm.
had been a poker player, so it was like, nah, I wasn't completely unknown to the community. So I think that, gave me a jump start because I knew how to mod my chat. I knew all the things a lot of new streamers have no idea what to do with. So that kind of helped me because like I didn't actually need a mod. And I still a lot of times if I don't have a mod, I can just do it all myself.
Hmm.
Having a mod makes it easier and I appreciate when they come, but not having to rely on that, like I think gave me a lot more confidence to know kind of what I was doing and what just the culture is, with the memes, like you don't know what they mean, like what is all these faces and the Kappa thing is like a Twitch thing. It just means just joking if someone puts the little Kappa thing and I didn't know that when I started, so I was like I didn't know that was sarcasm and so there's just a lot of like little cultural things you catch on to as you become part of the Twitch community.
Yeah, I I didn't know about that Kappa thing either. So, um, so what are your current goals, plans, as far as Twitch goes?
Well, Saturday nights we have a home game and that's been going on for a while. So definitely come to those streams. Those are like the big fun streams every week. I really look forward to it. It's just a casual $3 buy-in. I give away some entries at the beginning of the stream at 8 p.m. Pacific every week. That's going to keep happening. And then eventually I'm going to add on Monday through Thursday, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern start time. And that's going to be another 4 extra days a week that I'm planning on starting to stream, but I haven't announced when. It's just coming soon. So be on your toes because when I do announce that first stream will be probably a big kickoff for the new schedule.
Oh, for sure, for sure. So, right there, people, it's on the screen. Twitter at Botlady4. Go follow. That's where you get all the good information. Um,
And on top of it, I am probably going to start advertising on Fiverr soon, but I'm putting together
fire.
a new business to help people that have zero Twitch experience because I've got 4 years to go from zero to hero basically overnight. I'm gonna transform you. If this is your dream, I'm gonna like cut out all the hard work that I've learned and all the mistakes, and you can hire me to help you set up your stream. I'm gonna be working with a graphic designer to help you get custom emotes, overlays. I'll teach you how to put the overlay together And I mean, maybe I can even raid you, so we'll help you get started. And then I'm going to have a Discord community that you can join and ask me questions, and you can always come to the live stream and ask me questions. So it'll be really integrated into kind of what I'm already doing, but helping others, because it's really my goal with this is to help other people achieve their dreams, not just like have fun. But I feel like I want to give back more with my experience and knowledge. And I know there's so many people that have no idea where to start, though. Like, basically, like, you get into it and then you realize there's so much more to it technically than you might expect. And just getting started with viewers too can be really hard. So everything I've done over the last 4 years, I want to be able to like share with people that are brand new and just have no idea where to start, might get discouraged without some support.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I was actually gonna ask, with with the technology and stuff, and you were talking about quality, and this leads right into your business. Do you feel that the upstart is quicker now? That you can, if you study the right people, you know the right things, that you can just really jump into this and kind of get ramped up easier nowadays? Or do you think it's
It
still.
really depends on your experience. A lot of people have a mobile device, not a PC, so they aren't really familiar with the PC. And then if you ever used like a video editing or photo editing software in the past, a lot of those skills will translate. If you haven't, it's a lot harder because
Mm-hmm.
OBS is basically like an advanced design program. So like some people really do well with OBS. Other people have a hard time with it. I find it to be kind of that hardest part of it all is getting all of your art and your broadcasting software all set up in a way that
Mm-hmm.
is smooth, because some people's computers can't run all the programs they want to run at the same time. And you won't even know until you start and try. If you have an older computer or a laptop, it's probably not going to be ideal. If you have Wi-Fi, it's not going to be ideal. Like, I have a hard line in my computer because like I can't have frames dropping during a stream. So there's a lot of little things that, you may not think of, like, oh, I just want to start streaming, but you don't have the right equipment, you don't have the right hardware, you don't have the right software, you don't have the knowledge how to use the software. There's a lot of things that, like, I don't think I think it's probably the hardest thing to do. There's a lot of programs that, are supposed to help, but then you still have to learn how to use it. So it's like, no, for me, I think most people find it really technically difficult. I usually don't have a stream that's technically like goes perfect. I usually have
Mm-hmm.
issues with some of my software or hardware trying to update or not being compatible. And there's always little things you have to troubleshoot sometimes while you're live. So, it can be a really frustrating or discouraging when you're just like, I just want to hit a button and go live.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
it's not like TikTok or Instagram where you can, just make a video. It's a little more to it. If you want to be super basic, maybe, but if you want to do anything else extra, like, it's gonna be difficult.
Oh,
What was
that's.
your feeling when you got started? Did you think it was easy?
Uh, I I have a computer background, so no. Even I'm gonna say, even with knowing how stuff runs, and knowing how to troubleshoot and know how to Google search stuff, YouTube, all that stuff, there was problems that arose that took me a week or so to figure out
Yeah,
in the beginning, which
yeah.
I could have easily just talked to someone. They would have been like, yo, just do this, do that, you're done. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I find it super cool that you're going into this avenue, because I had talked to you before about poker mentorship or coaching or whatever. And I've always believed that if you make it to a certain level, you have a certain obligation to give back. And
I
so
agree.
the fact that you've made it to this level and you've conscious realized that, hey, I can give back. This is truly awesome. It's a really good thing.
Yeah, all the hours I've suffered learning one little thing or trick or bug or the
Oh
same
yeah.
time and it's so easy for me now, but it's just because I practiced so much. When I started,
Hmm.
I was terrible. And then you realize, you have to get good at all this technical stuff, and then you have to look good on camera, show your personality, get highlights, learn how to clip, learn how to do all this marketing side. Because if you're not doing that stuff too, then you're not going to be growing your stream. So it's not just one thing, you have to learn to do 20 things at once and look cute and smile, so it's like, okay, it's a lot. And so in a normal production studio, you just show up and smile and read your lines. There's 30 people doing the other job that you're doing too. So if you have support, you have family, you have friends that want to help, they can help you with marketing, they can help you with technical stuff, they can support your stream in any way. That's such a good start. Like, even a few people supporting you, it will go a long way for your mentality, your just like overall morale, and your motivation. So just remember to put the same amount of effort into your own stuff that you would working for anyone else. You go to work, you work your butt off for a stranger, but now you come home and this is your hobby, but you still want to like be learning stuff every day and just be getting better at whatever you decide you want to focus on that day.
Oh, for sure. In the Twitch community, the people I've run into, they don't stop. They just keep going and going. And
We get experts for like everything. You want to learn to play an instrument, you need someone that knows how to play the instrument to teach you. You can't just go play a flute well, like, without a guitar, whatever. So it's like, it's kind of a similar thing. There aren't a lot of these Twitch experts that can help you when everyone's just doing their own thing. So I mean, everything you do, you want to get a coach for that, if you can make it better, if you're serious about it. And even poker coaching, like, my kind of philosophy with that is you want to hire a coach that is winning and not just winning 10 years ago and then just started coaching. Like, they're winning now, today, right? You want someone
mm-hmm.
good at what they're doing, they're active, so yeah, so I'm not gonna just do one thing or the other. I think they both like would work really well together. And I see that with poker coaching too. The best coaches are the ones that are still playing and coaching.
Oh, for sure, for sure. That's definitely the case. Have you
You wouldn't
used?
want a guitar coach that didn't play guitar in 20 years.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, you go to Guitar Center and the guy picks up the guitar and he's, terrible. You're not gonna ask him, show me how to do that. and and I wanted to mention that if this service you're getting ready to provide, if it had been out there for me, I would have most definitely have taken advantage of it, just to have the moral support alone and to learn all those little, because you can watch YouTube videos all day long, but
Yeah.
once you actually are in the grind or the middle of it, actually doing it, and the problems arise, and people show you, oh, you can click this, click that, done, bing bang boom, and you just pick it. It's like with the music that I do. I watch videos, and even though they're going over the same stuff, they might mention like, hey, control A will, select all. I never knew this, but I picked it up. So this venture that you're going into is really cool.
I
I'm
think it'll help a lot more people because honestly, like, even when I started, I got frustrated just with the like learning curve, and if it can kind of make it easier for people to get started, that's the goal, so that you don't have to be super technical to have something set up for you, and just kind of start learning slow. And then with the Discord, the idea with that is be able to hop in there if you have a question, to be able to ask it and get an answer, so that I mean, I've been there watching the YouTube videos too, so it's like I get it. I really I understand what you need before you probably even know what you need. Like, that's the
that's
whole
that
point, right?
that's that bot lady future vision going on.
Maybe.
No, but for sure, because when I first started, I had problems, and my son's also pretty good at computers, and he had no interest, and it was actually kind of a bothersome thing. But just for him, just to attempt to try, was like, oh, I do have someone who cares, and so if I would have had Discord, I would have been in there all the time, and then passing the knowledge on, going, oh, hey, yeah, somebody taught me this. Did you know this? And so,
Yeah.
looking forward to it.
Cool.
So again, go Twitter at Botlady4. Go follow, hit the button. Okay, so let's talk poker slots.
Okay. All right.
First and most importantly is knowing your bankroll and knowing that this is for entertainment, and your bankroll should be nothing but your weekly or monthly fun money. Let's get this out there. We're not promoting gambling as a way to fund your life, because it won't. It might, but it won't. It's not a get rich scheme, is what we're saying. It's for fun and entertainment. So, speaking of that, there's two different bankrolls we should talk about. There's poker, and then there's slot bankroll. Quickly, you want to go over poker bankroll? And
I think you probably need less to get started in poker than slots.
well, what I was told was that you want 100 tournament buy-ins or 100 big blinds, and
100
so
tournament buy-ins.
right, and so you based your bankroll off of that. So in my case, I approached somebody and asked them, and I told them I had 200 a month, and they said, well, you're kind of locked into playing the men's, but if you run good, then take the chance. And good advice. He was telling me, play the $1, $2 play, and if you feel good, play $10. So that's pretty much. And then if you want to do cash games, it's a little different. You do 10% of your bankroll will decide what table you go to. How about slots? See, I know poker. What's a slot bankroll look like?
I would even be careful with poker, like because game selection is probably the most important thing in bankroll management.
That's very true.
And a lot of people play these 1,000-person MTTs, these min buy-in MTTs, and it's very hard to get out of the micros ever. So if you're in the micro section and then your bankroll is very small in poker, you're probably not going to make enough to really do anything with the money. It's going to be a hobby. It's something you play for fun, and you're probably never going to win enough to like really do anything with it. It's going to be, $5, $10, $20, and it would take years to probably add up to a lot. I'm just being completely honest. The tournaments you have to play are the one table tournaments, the 3 table tournaments, or the satellites to the bigger tournaments to really take a micro stake bankroll and make enough per hour to like build it up. Because the variance is way too high in these big MTTs to really win. Like, you have to win it. You really have to win it to make it worth playing those. And not to mention, you might play for 6 hours in a $2 tournament, and if you win $20, it was like $2 an hour you made or something. So I always look at it like that.
Well,
gets depressing really quickly if it's for money.
what I was gonna say is, I do the free rolls, I do the $1, I do the $2. Okay, my whole thing, it's not bankroll based. It's my personal what I want to play, and the reason why is because I don't feel I'm ready to really go to these tournaments, because once you go up higher, the pool of players gets lower. The free rolls and stuff I play, I mean,
I
gosh,
love it
more.
when there's less players. Like you just have less variance and you're gonna win a lot more often if you're good. If you're
Oh,
good,
yeah,
you
for
know.
sure. No,
I
my.
mean,
Oh, sorry.
you have
Um,
to trust yourself, right? Like to get to those stakes, and
well, that's what I'm
not
work.
everyone's not everyone's going to be able to get there, like, to that point. So some people may just want to play in the micros forever just because it's their hobby or that's just fun for them.
Well, right now I'm using it as a. I call it a like I'm using it as a battleground. Like if I can, push through these people, then I'm learning without risking. Is how I'm looking at it. The only problem is the competition as you go higher is probably very different because down at the free roll and the $1, $2, there's a lot of people who just are reckless. So as you move up, does the competition and are you looking at also who's in the tournament? Or are you just looking at what time you're playing, what you can afford?
I mean, in the bigger buy-ins, pretty much everyone's good, but there's still people that play terrible. Like a hand terrible. You only have to play one hand really bad to, mess up your whole tournament. So it's, even if they're overall a good player, it doesn't mean they aren't making mistakes. Sometimes they're playing 5 or 10 tournaments at a time. They're not playing every hand optimally. They may be staked. Like there's a lot of factors that go into the way they're playing, and I wouldn't assume just because they're a high buy-in they're better. You have a better percent chance to win because there's less variance. You have to survive in a smaller field, and you can win against anyone if you're picking the right spots. So it's all about picking the right spots, and then like worrying about the players themselves. Worrying about the position in the hand is really where I would focus my energy, because I would just assume they're all good and that they all make
Mm-hmm.
mistakes. I try not to bluff my whole stack off. Like that's a secret right there. But I see other people do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm putting a lot of chips in the pot, I'm hoping that it's not on an air ball. But I've caught people doing that over and over and over in the bigger buy-in tournaments. So I can't say for a fact like, that you're not going to see that type of play, and I would that everyone's going to be playing tight aggressive. That's just not the case. So I think earlier in a tournament when you can still rebuy, you see a lot of the same behavior you would in a smaller stake tournament with a lot more players, because they're trying to build a big stack up, take risk, and then take that big stack to win the whole tournament. That's the goal. So you might see some plays that would surprise you, I think. But the thing to focus on is the amount of time you put in for what you're getting back out of it. So I really like the 3 table tournaments because you can do a slightly bigger buy-in, and if you're a winning player, you're going to see that hourly go up in what you're earning and a lot less variance in the field. So the best players in the world, like if you just only played 1,000-person tournaments, they're not going to win enough to like really make it worth their time. So that's kind of my perspective on it. Why I personally don't, I only like those micros for like learning or what,
Mm-hmm.
fun. Like if you just want to play them for fun, but to expect to win one, I mean,
Oh
it's
no.
very rare. It's very rare. I think it's much more likely you're going to win a 3-table tournament than, 1,000-person tournament, because you have all like a lot less hands you're going to have to win, a lot less coin flips you're going to have to win over that period. It might be an hour or two instead of 6 hours that you're playing that tournament, and it just takes the less variance you can take, the more you're gonna up your bankroll. Basically, is kind of what I'm saying. So the best ways to get in those smaller, bigger buy-in tournaments are satellites. They have like $11 satellites into the 109. I've spun in the $11 satellite for a penny, which means I have a 109 ticket in my account that cost me a penny. I mean, that's kind of where I'm coming from. Like what I would do with my time is I'd be trying to get the bigger buy-in tickets through the satellites if I had a micro bankroll, and then playing in those.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the best use of your time if you're trying to up your bankroll just in poker.
Yeah, that was something that was suggested to me, was to play satellites and just grind them. Every
Yes,
satellite you could find, grind,
yes,
grind, grind.
yes,
So
yes,
that's a very
yes.
good tip. Is these poker sites, they do offer ways to get into the higher stake tournaments. You
And the
just have
satellites often are very like they're less than 100 players, you know. Sometimes they're only 30 to 50 players. So you're talking a very small field that's a lot less variance to get to that bigger buy-in that gives you the time, the money back for your time in a more efficient way. So instead of taking years to build your bankroll, it might take a few months.
yeah, for sure. Because I can tell you, on ACR, I made final table once in their free roll, and I think I got $1. So that was like 6 hours for $1. It doesn't add up. It just doesn't. So if you wanna see somebody, if you wanna
If it
see
was just for
someone,
fun, it's no big
yeah.
deal. Yeah.
Well, like I said, I actually do them for fun, and I do them to learn, because
Yeah.
there's spots and stuff like that, and I'm not gonna try something in a big tournament, more money, but I'll certainly try it in a free roll. You know, will this bluff work? Will can I jam this? Will it get through? To build up the database so that when you do go to the higher levels, you already have that information. So that's why I grind them, and it's
I think, a lot we underestimate ourselves a lot, like our potential, is greater than we think it is.
well, for sure. I mean, I've gotten to the point to where, um, big thing is my nervous condition and just my panic, um, dealing with that. And so that's what the free rolls have helped me with, is that I am managing my, anxiety in these spots, all in spots. I'm not nervous in all in spots anymore. I don't get sweats. My heart
That's
rate
good.
does go up sometimes, but in big hands, but it's not an everyday occurrence.
Practice
Um,
makes perfect. I used to
it,
wear a heart rate monitor and actually would practice like watching the rate monitor and like breathing and seeing if I could get it to go down and learning like okay, recognizing when that's happening and like just focusing on calming yourself because the thing is online, like maybe no one can tell you're nervous, but if you ever go play in a live game, like, oh my gosh, like you're giving off all kinds of signals, you don't want to.
oh, for
It's that
sure.
awareness of yourself that you get heightened, I think.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I haven't even attempted live yet because I'd be a wreck. So, online is great. You can hide so many, so many bad factors of your game.
I
Um,
think that's why so many more women play online than in live too, because the perception of the image of the person is different. It's anonymous and you don't feel like people are making decisions because of the way you look or whatever.
hmm, that's interesting. Actually, I had I was playing poker on one site, and this guy had shown up, but his avatar was a woman. So I messaged him and I was like, "Dude, what?" And he's like, I think people play different just based on an avatar. And I was like, "Are you crazy?" And he's
They
like, "No."
might.
And I thought it was hilarious. So, and he's like, maybe they play softer against women. I don't know. And he found out that they did. So
I
that's
have a
an
female avatar, so it's it's play soft against me. That's fine. But okay, slots, the slot thing, I would say don't play slots, stay away from it. But the things I can tell you are there are books that you can read that give you strategies. You can look up the odds, so the payback on the slot, it will tell you if it's over 90%, that's good. If it's over 95%, it's great. If it's close to 98 to 99, that's amazing. You're never going to find anything over 100% because that the casino couldn't stay open.
Mhm.
But slots in Vegas are regulated. So if it's a quarter machine, it has to be 90% payback. If it's a dollar machine, it has to be 95% payback. If it's a $5 machine, it has to be 98% payback. If it's a penny machine, it's not regulated. So it could be as low as a 10% payback. Some people don't know that. The ones online on ACR are all between 90 and like 100, somewhere in there that I'm aware of. So it's really interesting that from what I know, they have fairly good payback rates, which really matters. So knowing that stuff is important. And you can find out all that stuff online if you do your research. And then the other thing I would say, besides learning the games and learning the odds and the payback, which is important, is just realizing like if you bet really big and win a lot, you have to like lower your bet to the minimum in order to maintain your bankroll, because just because you won big once doesn't mean you're going to keep winning. And a lot of people will just give back what they just won by continuing to bet really big. And varying your bet size in the slots is probably the most important strategy you can have, because it's going to allow you to play longer. And then, once in a while you could like take a shot. Like you said, in poker, it's the same thing in slots. You don't want to constantly take big shots, but you could up your bet a couple times and try a couple spins and maybe get really lucky. So that's my personal strategy. It's worked for me. I try to like, how you vary your hands, how you play your hands in poker. I try to vary how I play the slots, when I play, how much I play, and that. But honestly, most people, because of the percentage, it's in the long run, they've made it. So if you keep playing forever, you can't win but over a short period, you could be up. So it's all about learning to walk when you're even, walk when you're up a little bit, walk when you're up a medium amount. Maybe it's not as much as you were hoping for, but maybe live to play another day is an attitude that will help your bankroll survive. Because if you're losing and you just keep playing to zero like every time, you're not going to be able to maintain your bankroll, and it's probably not a good thing for you to be playing.
Oh, for sure. Um,
Not everyone has the same like amount of self-control. So being self-aware of that and just saying like maybe this isn't for me is important.
well, if you were to start, what kind of money would you start with for slots?
I mean, I'd want like 1,000 spins at whatever denomination I'm playing. And I think a lot of people think that's crazy, but there's so much variance in slots. Like just to be able to expect to spin it a few times and win, it's probably really unlikely. It can happen, but just expect to lose it, whatever you put in. So whether it's a little or a lot, expect to lose it all, because that's probably what's going to happen. So that would be my recommendation, is to only put in what you plan to play, and then set a limit, and then actually stop when that limit hits. And if like you're not good at doing that, you're going to have a really hard time maintaining your bankroll.
Well, with gambling, it's the advice I have for lending money. Don't ever lend out anything you don't want, that you can't live without. Like, don't give somebody $200 if you need that $200. So don't go to the slots and put in $200 if you need that $200.
I mean, like you said, with 10% in the cash game of your bankroll for poker, it's about that for slots. 10% of your bankroll for slots. If you lost 10%, I would stop.
Okay.
Go back the next day and then start at 10% again. So like 10% or whatever that new total is. If you lose that, stop and then try again the next day. So you always are going to have something left to start with the next day, so that there's always something to play with. Like if you can't maintain the bankroll and you have to keep redepositing and redepositing, that's going to affect maybe your bills. And this is supposed to be for entertainment, not to make money.
Definitely for.
I don't even want to advocate people don't even play slots. Expect to lose. That's my advice. If you win, run. If you win big, run really fast with the money and put it in your bank. Like, keep it away from yourself.
Well, I can tell
Go
you.
pay a bill with it.
Well, I can tell you that, I mentioned to you that I was going to start playing slots, and for sure, if your advice is spot on, make sure you have a set amount. If you go over, if you happen to win, then take that extra and just don't gamble that extra that day. Just take it, add it to your bankroll, and so the next time you actually add it to the bankroll, you didn't lose. Um, so that's what I've been doing. Is definitely have a set mark that you will not go below and stick to it. And anything you started with that you got above, go put it in your bankroll, go put it in your pocket, go pay a bill, like Botlady said. Um, but again, it's for pure entertainment. This is not to pay your water bill, to buy food. It's
And the second you need the money, like that's when you start making mistakes, like you start playing out of your comfort zone or too high, and then you got to make it last. So bankroll management is almost more important than learning to get good at a game, because if you get really good and win a lot but then immediately like lose it back, then it doesn't matter. And I've seen a lot of players that are amazing at winning but not really great at like saving.
yeah,
And you need both. You really need both.
most definitely. I've in my short time of being in the community and stuff, I've met a few that are that way. They can win big, but yet they have to either self ban or empty the account and not put stuff back in.
And
I
that's
mean,
fine. If you know that about
right,
yourself, then do that. Like set it up and stick to it, because it's the most important thing is that you can take care of yourself and your
exactly.
family. Like that's got to be your priority. And if that's not your priority, definitely it shouldn't be what you're doing with your money or time.
Right. And in fact, we'll have links in the description to books for slots and poker, bankroll management, all that. Bod Lady had sent me some really good. In fact, I was gonna buy the book, and I was gonna buy the book, and I was gonna listen to it on and read it on Kindle, and then talk to you about it. But then I decided to be more interesting. What is in the book? Like what information is in there in that secret slot?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you remember any good information from it?
I can give you guys one tip. The player supported jackpots, the ones that have player supported jackpots, are some of the best payback ones, because if you do hit the big jackpot, it can pay you back a lot. And ACR has started adding some of these slots with the big jackpots to the 777. And some of them you can win on a minimum bet, 20-cent bet. You could win like 20 grand. So take a look at those. That's what tip I'll give you for free. Otherwise, I'm gonna make you go get the book because I don't want to.
Well, the fact that we alone have given the tips about the bank rolls, which to me, if you can put a number on it, then it makes sense to me. So, throwing it out there that we'll go over it again. 100 buy-ins for tournaments is what you want for poker. Same thing. It's basically the same thing with cash games. You only want to risk about 10% or 20% of your bankroll at the cash table. And so slots, we're saying, what was slots?
I like to have, so if you're gonna, let's say, do a minimum of 20 cents on your bet, you would need about $200.
Okay.
And then
So
you wouldn't want to lose more than $20 of it before you waited to the next day, right?
right. No, you never bankroll management, you never want to risk if you're super
100%.
well, yeah.
Don't stick it all on black on roulette, please. Whatever you do, don't do that. That's the worst thing you could do. If you had $200 and you put it all on one number, like that's the worst idea ever. So you got to spread it out. That way you give yourself a chance to win. That's the whole point. Is there's variance in slots, there's variance in poker, and even if you play perfect, you're going to lose sometimes. So you have to be able to play enough games to get the big win. And it's the big wins that pay you back. It's not these little wins usually. It's the big wins in poker and in slots. In poker, the lion's share of the money is the winner of the tournament. So unless you're winning tournaments, it's going to be really hard to maintain your bankroll.
Oh, for sure, for sure. In fact, just this past year, Daniel Negreanu going into the super high roller, he was down $1 million or so. He won the super high roll, which was a $3 million payout. And so for the year, he ended up with $2 million. But up until then, he was looking at a very bad year. So
I think he's had a good career, so
well,
okay.
no, it ain't gonna hurt him.
He's got some good sponsorships, I think, to help him out. Well, but you know what? I gotta wrap this up though.
Okay.
So it
Yeah, I
was
was
wonderful talking.
okay. No, I was just gonna ask you. I was about to ask you what goals, what's for the future.
Just keep doing what I'm doing. I'm gonna write a couple more books this year, and can't wait for those to come out. It's more like spiritual stuff, but it's something else I'm interested in too. So I know it's weird, like a poker girl that's into meditation and yoga, but I think they kind of go hand in hand because it's that again that mindfulness, and it's a similar kind of mindset. So I think one helps the other, you know. So something I'm gonna keep doing too.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, you're already a best-selling author, so keep at it. I mean, we just want more and more. Um, Twitter at Botlady4, Twitch. Um, go find her, go see her, go check her out. Anything else? You wanna?
I just, can't wait to meet you. Bye.
All right. Well, that's a wrap. Thank you, Botlady. As always, it's a pleasure. Look forward to this and doing many more. So
Thanks, Jay.
okay, thank you.
Appreciate it.
All
Bye,
right.
everybody.
Bye.